Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today we're racing the Driveway Series Men's 3-4 race. This is the Shop House Loop, which is a relatively new course, or relatively unused course. And it's basically the speed loop, but with a couple more turns up top. It goes around where the house was at the Driveway Series. So jumping right in here, we're a few laps in, and I am pulling in a 4-man breakaway. This breakaway initially started with 2 guys going away, Wilson and Sam, and then I ended up bridging with a guy, James, together, and that bridge took about maybe a half a lap to catch up to the other 2 dudes. It definitely was a big effort on both James and my parts, but we did make it into the group, and we were rolling pretty well together here. Rolling turns, and we got a pretty solid gap. At one point, it was ranging between 15 and 20 seconds, but you can see across this course pretty easily, and so each lap you could see that it was getting slightly brought back, pulled back here and there. We actually had 2 more guys bridge up, and that was when I really started to doubt both my ability to hold this effort level in the break and just the breakaway itself, because you could see that gap was closing up. So you can see right here, this is one of the guys that had bridged up, and there are gaps forming. Again, why I was starting to doubt the breakaway. And this is really when I made the decision to drop myself back into the pack. You can see Wilson is coming off the front, and he expects me to fill in. And I just tell him, I'm done, man. I'm dropping off, I'm cooked. And they keep rolling. So right here you can see a quick jump cut of me falling back to the pack. It takes about a half a lap of me sitting up for the pack to catch me. And during that time I wasn't super confident that this was the right decision to make, but I knew if I tried to stay in that field, I was going to blow myself up, and then I wouldn't be able to have any kind of result. So here we are, we're 5 laps to go. Coming up the corkscrew, about to go into these corners, and you can see right here, this guy, we're going to slow it down, this guy on my left, he actually, we're going forward, and he just juts over to the right. We bumped pretty hard and rubbed pretty hard for a second, and he tells me right here that I need to hold my line. Now, initially I thought, hey, maybe he's right, but after looking back at the footage, and especially after slowing it down, at least in my eyes, it really looks like I'm keeping my line forward and he just deviates a little to the side. Anyways, no harm, no foul, everyone stays up, but I'm pretty confident that I didn't mess up. If you guys think otherwise, let me know in the comments. So we're 4 laps to go. You can see we're not going slow. I mean, we're cruising. We're on a downhill, but we're going 32 miles an hour. And really, a lot of the work to bring back the breakaway was that kid Isaac, just constantly attacking. And you can also see, I mean, there's a good speed rider in the break, and there's a faction rider in the break. And even though the idea is for both of those teams to hold up, you can see both of them do make attacks here and there that seem counterintuitive. You can see the difference in my heart rate from whenever I was in the break versus now. I mean, it's come down 20, 25 BPM. I've really recovered a lot, and so as long as the break comes back, this was definitely the right decision to be able to get a result in the race. You can see my teammate right here, Nick. I tell him to slot in. Here we are, 3 laps to go, going right back up the corkscrew. And you can look across right here, this is the narrowest point. And the brake, while it has a gap, it is small, it's closing down. Gang's all here, Nick is right here in front of me, Ellis in the all black right in front of him now. 3 laps to go, positioning is looking solid. And you can see what I was talking about. A good speed guy goes on the attack even though he has someone in the breakaway. Not really ideal tactics, but it lets Isaac chase on and just closes the gap just a couple extra seconds. And here we are catching James on the right side from the break, so another one has fallen off the group, and this is where I'm really starting to get confident that it's going to close. We're 2 laps to go, going up the corkscrew again. And you can see the break right off in the distance. It's maybe 5 to 7 second gap. Definitely getting close to brought back. And I'm not working right here. This is just, I had momentum, everyone kind of sat up, and so instead of hitting my brakes, I just came around to preserve that momentum. That makes it so right there, when that little acceleration happened, I didn't have to put nearly as much out to stay in the field, stay on the wheels. It is a huge change moving back and forth between the Turbo Velo course up in Richardson and this driveway course, just because the Turbo Velo course is like maybe a third of the width of this track. Positioning doesn't matter nearly as much here. It's very much a power course, but it's pretty crazy how wide and how spread out it can get here comparatively. All right, here we are going into the final lap, 1 lap to go. We're cruising. And right here, the pace is definitely picked up. The brake is still away, but it's not away for long. That is closing down. Those guys worked really hard to keep that effort, and they made it until a half lap to go or less. But I see my teammate Nick has an open wheel right here, and I dart for it. He's a good wheel to follow, so I hop right on and I try to stay glued to it. Usually come around, let him take the inside line a bit so I don't have to scrub off any speed, and get right back behind him. And we're on the back straight. Nick goes for it. I follow, and I see AJ McCourt here, a Pegasus dude from up in Dallas who I know is strong. Let him slot in. I follow, and you can see just how much it's starting to open up. People going backwards, no one coming around. I'm just following AJ until the very last second. Nick is cruising with that crazy seated sprint power that he has. I look boxed in, and then it opens right up. I shoot for it. Nick gets third. I get fifth. Colin Shaughnessy on Faction got fourth between us. I'm super stoked that Nick was able to get podium. I got fifth. And it's just a good week of results coming after the 2 results on Tuesday night at Richardson. Appreciate you guys checking out the video. Let me know if you have any suggestions. Like and subscribe if you liked it. Share it with your friends. We'll see you next time.